2,000 years ago, wise men followed a star on a journey to see a child who'd been born in a stable. It was a journey full of risk and uncertainty. But their reward was to witness what we're celebrating here today at Blackburn Cathedral, the revelation that God had become one of us. Today I find out what modern astronomy tells us about the star the kings followed, about the festival of Epiphany in the Orthodox Church, and the parable of the prodigal son as you've never seen it before, plus hymns from our congregation and performances by Carleen Anderson and Tessera. Well, the turkey's finally been eaten. The tinsel and baubles are about to be packed away, and all you have left to do is to go back to the shop and ask for a refund for Aunt Dorothy's present. Christmas may be just about over, but the real story is only just beginning. We're marking Epiphany, the day we celebrate the visit of the kings to the Christ child, a scene magnificently depicted in our first hymn. People have been studying the night sky for millennia, and the wise men are traditionally said to have found the infant Jesus by following a star.
I don't think the Magi were following a star specifically. There was no sort of celestial sat-nav that was leading them by the hand across the deserts, through Jerusalem, down to Bethlehem, to the specific stable. This wasn't required. They were told by looking at the heavens that there was going to be a new king of the Jews. And of course, the goings-on in the heavens also indicated to them when this new king would be born. And so they then followed that message.
Is there any indication scientifically that there really was a star?
If you read the Bible, you're trying now to date the birth of Jesus. And of course, this happened after a taxation, you read in Luke, and before the death of Herod, you read in Matthew. And this gives you a sort of time window between 9 BC and about 4 BC. And then you become an astronomer and you start looking at the heavens in that time period to see if anything is going on up there that might give the Magi a message. There was this thing known as a triple conjunction. of Jupiter and Saturn in the constellation of Pisces. So here you have two planets, wandering stars in those days, coming together 3 times in one constellation. We also see a bright comet, and we see a new star, and we see Jupiter getting close to Venus. So there are quite a few things that people can argue about.
So David, what sort of people were the Magi?
Well, we think that they were Zoroastrian priests whose job would be to help the ruler of the country they lived in interpret what was happening in the sky. In essence, they were astrologers.
Astrologers, not astronomers?
Well, in those days, there was no such thing as astronomy, which is trying to understand, in essence, the physics of what's going on up there, and also the movement of what's going up there. In the past, they were astrologers. They were, in those days, convinced that what was happening in the heavens did have a direct effect on our lives here on Earth. Any ruler worth his salt in those days would have had some wise men working for him. So they were helping the ruler decide when to invade another country or when to go and pay homage to a new leader and all that sort of thing.
Is it important that we know the date of Jesus' birth?
Well, to me as a Christian, the answer to that is no. I mean, it's important that Jesus was born, but much more important that he was baptized, he ministered, and he died on the cross for our sins.
The word Epiphany comes from a Greek word meaning revelation or manifestation. We celebrate the King's visit to Jesus because it was through them that Christ was first revealed to the world. But this isn't the only biblical event associated with the festival. Jesus' first miracle was at the wedding at Cana when he showed his divinity by turning water into wine. Mary told Jesus that they'd run out of wine and then instructed the servants to do whatever he asked. I wonder what it must have been like for Mary, all those centuries ago, giving birth to a baby who'd be visited by kings and then grow up later to perform miracles. What child is this
Jesus who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh, compassion King to own him. The King of Kings salvation brings, let loving hearts